Hey guys, how's it going? So Shadowlands news are finally starting to flood in, and boy oh boy, I'm excited. And so should you, because things so far sound really good and really promising. So first off, it's been confirmed in a developer update that the first round of invitations to the closed alpha are this week. They go on to say that the first batch of invitations will mainly go out to long-time WoW players with active accounts in good standing, as well as Blizzard friends and family, along with a limited number of content creators and journalists. This initial wave represents only a small fraction of the pool of testers that will ultimately gain access to the tests in the coming months. This makes sense. They want to release it to the players most likely to engage in feedback first, so they can begin fine-tuning as soon as possible. In case you don't happen to get an invitation right away, it's still possible to get one later on, so don't worry about it, but either way, YouTube is literally bound to be bombarded with Shadowlands alpha videos, so nobody will be missing out on its content. It's also been confirmed, as I suspected, that in this closed alpha test, we will get the full Bastion zone and the Bastion themed dungeon, Necrotic Wake. The focus of the alpha test being mainly targeted towards the new class design we're getting and making sure all classes are as functional and fun and interesting as possible. In fact, they pretty much outright said it themselves in a post on their website. They've listed here most changes that are coming in with Shadowlands, but before that, they have a couple of paragraphs about their class philosophy. Nothing new there, just reinforcing what we already know about focusing on classes rather than specs. However, the last paragraph is really interesting, and it goes like this. Today, we'd like to give you a look at some of what's in store for each class, including our overall goals, some cool new and returning powers, and some key changes to abilities and talents. This isn't meant to be a comprehensive list of updates. These changes represent a starting point for a dialogue with the community, but this should give you a good overview of what to expect. This right here is very important because it means that they've actually done their homework throughout the length of BFA. They're giving themselves the opportunity to have things properly tested and taking into account early on in the game's life cycle. They're throwing all of their coolest toys at us with the promise of listening and having a dialogue in order to get things just the way we, the community, want them, which is absolutely fucking amazing. Of course, a more cynical person might say, well, that's what should happen. That's what should happen in an alpha test, and that's what should have happened in BFA's alpha test. But let's face it, most of everybody who's still even remotely interested in retail is ready to say fuck it, water under the bridge. A lot of my friends are already talking about coming back, and depending on how things turn out in the alpha going into the beta, we might be looking at a lot of hype going into this new expansion, and for all the right reasons this time. Now, they also said this isn't meant to be a comprehensive list of updates, but this should give you a good overview of what to expect. I don't know if they mean that not everything is necessarily ready right away, or maybe they're just saying that things will ultimately change due to feedback, so it's not set in stone. But anyway, link will be in the description, and I recommend checking them out for yourself to get an idea of what's to come, if only to see if your preferred class is getting stuff that you like. I go through them myself and try to analyze the weight of these changes, but I've really been struggling with maintaining alts in BFA for obvious reasons, so I'm a little in the dark for the most part on how much gameplay is impacted by these changes, and it will definitely be impacted a lot. There's all sorts of changes, from major stuff like Touch of Death for monks, Surrender to Madness for shadow priests, Alter Time for mages, all the way down to little stuff like Frost Decays and monks being able to choose between one-handed and two-handed weapons. I'd much rather hold off commenting on these for now until we start getting the invites out, and fingers crossed to actually get one of them so I can give you a proper deep dive of how things work and feel. Also, if you've already gone through the list, I'd like to know if you think there's anything missing, like maybe you would have wanted all shamans to have Wind Fury Totem again, because only enhancement shamans are getting Wind Fury weapon back, so maybe you're not a big fan of that, and maybe you can leave that in a comment or something. Anyways, I'm really happy with where we are right now because the setup is pretty great. Even if everything somehow turns to shit and none of the classes are in any way playable, Blizzard is on our side this time around and will do whatever they can based on communication between us, the players, and them. And what more can you ask? So that's pretty much it for me. Hope you guys have a great day, and hope I'll see you soon with some proper Shadowlands content. Ciao.